Hey guys, welcome or welcome back to In Divine Time Tarot. So I have a special message for you guys. It came through earlier today and I'm just getting a chance to record it. So earlier today, I was just chilling and I happened to get like a download. So like a flash, an image in my head, and it was 1793. And I would say it is random for me, but it's not. Because sometimes things just pop into my head. The images are given to me in my head. And so I didn't really know much about 1793, to be honest with you. So I had to do some research on it. And the research that I did was what I found out was crazy in terms of like the similarities of what is happening right now. And I am going to go ahead and just dive into that with you guys because I'm excited to share it. Okay, so as we all know, shit is hitting the fan over the entire world, right? We have power structures that are being dismantled because they are not working for the greater good of everyone. This can be seen physically. We can look on the news and see this shit, but we can also look at astrology and know and see what is going on and the collapse of old power structures that don't serve the greatest good of everyone. And we're also seeing the opposite of that, where we're seeing those power structures knowing that they're being taken down, so they are fighting back tooth and nail against us, throwing everything that they can at us in order for us to stay divided and distracted and exhausted by this chaos, right? By this continuous chaos, trying to desensitize us so that we can just become complacent and just sit there and think that there's nothing that we can do, right? So, with that being said, I'm going to share a few things that happened in the year of 1793 just to show you that we're going to make it out of this, right? We're going to make it out of this because this is nothing but a rinse and repeat. So let's get into that. Okay, so if you don't know, or don't have access to the internet, TV, whatever it is, right now France is having its own revolution, right? It is going bankrupt. It is going bankrupt because it can no longer purge off of African countries. That's why it's going bankrupt. So let's talk about what was happening in France in 1793. So first of all, there were two big executions, beheadings specifically, that happened in the year of 1793 that were significant. So the first one was Louis XVI, and he was beheaded, and that basically sparked the end of the monarchy for France, right? And on top of that, when he was beheaded, it also just kind of like triggered off multiple kind of like radical revolutions that happened in the country of France. And it also happened in Haiti, right? With the Haitian Revolution, which was led by Toussaint. And during that time, he was gathering leadership, and slaves were also organizing in order to be able to revolt against slave masters because, babes, we want our freedom. We don't want to be oppressed, right? So, in 1793, in France again, Maria Antoinette was executed, right? Now, we all know that she was extremely opulent. She was, I don't want to say blind, but, you can see people starving out on the street and then you throw extravagant parties. Let's think about how people in America are doing right now economically, financially, and then think about the wedding that occurred from the owner of Amazon. I mean, if we want to make comparisons. During 1793, there was also Reign of Terror that began in 1793, and that was really critical because it became synonymous with mass executions as well as a lot of suspicion and subversion, right? So think like surveillance and like different types of tactics to be able to monitor or watch people. And that became prevalent in 1793. Now, if we think about what is happening right now with people being censored, that's kind of our own little reign of terror and what's happening, right? Okay, so also during 1793, there was the War of the First Coalition, which was basically France when they were at war with most of Europe. And if we think about that, and we think about all of our trade relations in the U.S. and the allies that we used to have, and how we're kind of at war with everybody. The similarities are kind of undeniable. Okay, guys, so also in 1793, there was something called the Neutrality Proclamation, and it was a declaration by George Washington. And pretty much what this said is that, okay, the U.S. is a new nation, and France and Britain, y'all old. So if y'all want to fight, just we don't want no parts in it. We're just kind of trying to say like a neutral party. We don't really want to get involved. And we're also going to tell our citizens that if you do try and get involved in this, you won't have any protection from the U.S. government. So do what you want, but don't expect us to come for you. Don't expect us to save you. They wanted to just stay neutral throughout the entire thing. And when we think about the stance that we're taking right now with two situations that are occurring, one being Ukraine and Russia, and how, the stance seems pretty neutral if you ask me. Like, oh, well, okay, I say I'm gonna, and then I'm not gonna, you know what I'm saying? And then even though this person's campaign promises said that they would end that war as soon as they came into office, was it 24 hours? I don't remember. I'm pretty sure that's what that person said that well. And then we have to think about what's going on with that other country that's committing G against, that place. And y'all know what place I'm talking about. And so even though they want to appear as though, now they don't even appear as though they're not pretending that their stance is neutral. We all know who they're supporting. This government is supporting. But in the beginning, they tried to act as though their stance was like neutral but who are you fooling though, right? Because you're allowing the G word to happen right now. So when we think about the Neutrality Proclamation of 1793, I start thinking about the U.S.'s stance in between these two big acts of violence and acts of G word that is happening right now, and we're kind of sitting in the middle of those things. So I don't want to make this video too long, but right now I'm just going to go over kind of like the mirror comparisons of what is happening, right? So in 1793, there was the collapse of old powers, right? We have kings and queens that were literally being dethroned, beheaded, kicked out of their own nations. And today, we're seeing something very similar. If you think about what happened in Nepal with those government officials literally being just like helicoptered out of there, hanging on a rope. If you think about the new female president, this was another government recently that was dethroned, so to speak. And we're watching these systems that do not work for everybody being dismantled, right? So these systems of wealth, these systems of race, which is not even real, right? Because we're all the human race. The systems of gender inequality, government, and in our case in 2025, technology, right? And that would be this overarching theme of being hyper surveilled so that they can see what we're saying, so that they can control the information. Because if you can control the information, then you can control the narrative, right? On top of that, in 1793, we also have all of these liberation movements that are happening. So like right after Louis XVI getting killed, right after Maria Antoinette getting killed, right after the Haitian Revolution that had occurred, where they were fighting for their freedom, fighting to dismantle a system of oppression. And there is this constant theme in 1793 and also here in 2025 of fear and control. And that is created by causing chaos, which causes destruction, which causes division, which causes us to feel overstimulated, which causes us to feel like, what are we going to do? There's nowhere to go. There's nothing to do. You feel hopeless. You feel helpless. You want to do something, but you don't know what to do. And people are really just getting fed up, and they're getting tired. And we see this happening all around the world. So last part that I'm going to move into is the numerology. Okay. So let's talk about the energy numerically of using numerology of 1793, right? So we have 1793 equals 20. 20 reduces down to 2. So let's talk about this, right? So the number 20 is the number of judgment, right? It is the number of awakening. It is the number of calling you on your shit. It is the number of a collective reawakening, resurrection of us saying like, hey, this ain't going down. Like, we're not allowing this to go down. And now it's Judgment Day. Now it's awakening that's happening. Now we all woke. And as we can see, the collective is awakening, baby. It's up. It's ready. And that is what's happening right now in today's society. And number 2, we have partnership, duality, balance, the choice between union and division. And we are also seeing that, hey, guys, this condition that was created from people that are in power, that are now realizing that they are losing their power, are trying to pit us against one another. Why? So that while we're fighting against one another, they can be doing whatever they're doing. So that it becomes one big distraction. Have we seen how many bills have been introduced to the House when chaos was occurring? I don't think that's a mistake. It's very intentional, right? So this vibration of 793 is a reminder, right? That throughout human history, there has always been a point at which we have to come together as a collective to decide that oppression of any group is an oppression of us all. We have to come together as a group to realize that there is only oneness, and that we choose to divide ourselves, or we choose to let others divide us. And we have to realize that we, the people, we have the real power. We can see that with these boycotts that have occurred, right? Think about what's happening to Disney right now because of what they did to Jimmy Kimmel. They're literally losing billions of dollars, all because people decided to come together in solidarity and say, no, this is not right, and we're not going to allow you to do this. So I want you to think about how powerful we could actually be and the type of change that we can create in our world if we decided that moving forward, if it does not work for the betterment of all people, then it does not work for any of us.